Remember the beginning? How I said that there was one way our political culture is worse than anything we've seen in modern memory? Well, it's time to tell you about it, but if you've opened Facebook, you've probably seen it for yourself. It's that everyone seems so angry right now. You know, I'm pretty sure that right now there's just someone at home yelling, "No!" at Wolf Blitzer. Which is weird. He's a nice man who looks like a dentist. What's not to like? Right now, America's like a bad improv show because no one knows where it's going and everyone's yelling. And just like with improv, our dads aren't proud of us. The real problem with our democracy today is that partisan polarization is at historic highs. Since 1994, the percentage of Republicans who say they view Democrats very unfavorably has more than tripled. The same is true for how Democrats view Republicans. And in Congress, Republicans and Democrats simply don't work together at all anymore. A Supreme Court seat is currently vacant. And no, not just because Republicans love empty chairs. It's because the two sides can't even agree on whether the seat should be filled right now. In 2013, the government actually shut down because the two sides couldn't get along. Basically, they both got so pissed they flipped over the game board and went home.
You can't!
That's C-SPAN footage! But hey, that's the way it's always been, right? Conservative Republicans and liberal Democrats, they don't agree on anything, nothing gets done, right? Wrong. For most of the 20th century, there was actually such a thing as liberal Republicans and conservative Democrats. I mean, can you imagine? It must have been like Bizarro World.
Me, liberal Republican, me support labor unions, and wear shoe on head.
Me, conservative Democrat, me oppose civil rights, and me pee out butt.
Now, yes, these two usually still voted with their parties, but when something really needed to get done, the conservative Democrats could team up with the conservative Republicans, or vice versa, and make it happen.
Me think government should not shut down.
Oh, me agree. Functional government am important.
Good night, it's morning.
Meow, I'm a dog.
Comedy's very stupid, isn't it? Now, during the period when the parties worked this way, America had our best century ever. We went to the moon, we extended the vote to women and minorities, and we won 3 major wars, 2 hot, 1 cold. Oh, just like the food they serve in the cafeteria where Ted Cruz eats alone. So, what changed? Well, a big piece of the puzzle is our old friend, LBJ. Seriously, you guys aren't even gonna be able to say his name the old way. After this, the emphasis is on the B for you. So, the night he passed his civil rights bill, LBJ turned to his assistant and reportedly said, "I think we just delivered the South to the Republican Party for a long time to come." And he was right. There are a lot of reasons partisan polarization increased in the second half of the 20th century, but the Civil Rights Act was pivotal in accelerating this trend. The Republican Party became more and more conservative, and the Democratic Party became more and more liberal. Let's take it a before shot. This is a visualization of how often Republicans and Democrats voted together in Congress in 1969, and as you can see, ooh, it's a swinging adult party, yeah. Lots of people mingling, reaching across the aisle, you know what I mean? Ooh, there's Congressman Boggs and Senator Russell slow dancing. Oh, I think I see Ted Kennedy passing around a key bowl. That guy doesn't care who he forms a coalition with, you know? But by the 70s, the rift of polarization began to take hold. Let's do a time lapse to the present day. And that swinging adult party is now a Catholic school dance. Boys on one side, girls on the other. And they are leaving a lot of room for Jesus. The two sides work together now so little that the last couple of Congresses have enacted fewer laws than at any time since 1947 at least. That is why our government doesn't work today, because of partisan polarization. And it's not just our politicians. It often feels like Americans ourselves are dividing into 2 teams, Team Red and Team Blue. Yep. And just like in Pokemon Go, there's a 3rd team that no one takes seriously. Sorry, Jill, you are Team Instinct. If you want to see how bad things have gotten, All you have to do is open up Facebook or look at some polls and see the terrible things the two teams say about each other now. Among those highly engaged in politics, 45% of Republicans and 41% of Democrats say they view the other party's policies as a threat to the country.
Political correctness is destroying America. Oh, we have to call male men male people now? What's next? I have to call Leslie man Leslie person? Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, we've all seen that Facebook post. 62% of Republicans and 70% of Democrats say that they are actually afraid of the people in the other party.
Something happened today. I found out that my coworker owns a gun. Enthusiast magazine subscription.
Wow, terrifying. 70% of Democrats say they feel Republicans are more close-minded than other Americans.
Republicans don't even like Hamilton. How do you not like Hamilton? They're objectively bigots.
And roughly 45% of Republicans say that they think Democrats are lazier and more immoral than other Americans.
It's not just that Democrats are perverts. They're perverts with a weak work ethic. That's what burns me up.
Okay, let's take a beat here. Imagine if we said things like this about Americans of any other group. Any race, religion, city of origin, even sports team. It wouldn't just be offensive. We'd consider that a form of bigotry. But that's how we talk today about fellow citizens who just have a different political opinion than us. Now, I know what you're thinking. Adam, there is a huge difference between me and the other party. The difference is they are wrong, whereas I am right. That's how I know they're lazy, terrifying, closed-minded idiots. But here's the problem. Partisan polarization is actually making you stupid.
It am?
Yes, it am indeed. In fact, it am making you so stupid you actually can't tell if you're right or not. It's because of something called identity protective cognition. See, we all want to believe that when we're presented with strong factual evidence, we'll change our beliefs accordingly, right? Because we're rational. But researchers have found that that is not true. And instead, when we make decisions about whether or not we believe new information, we do so based more on cultural identity than rational thinking. It's a problem that affects both liberals and conservatives. And you know that's true because half of you just thought, that's not true. But it is. It happens to all y'all. And here's how it works. One study tested people's math skills by asking them to solve a math problem about a skin rash cream. Now, the problem's trying to trick you, but if you're good at math, you can figure it out.
Okay, the first number is bigger, but the ratio is actually lower, which means there's no proof that the skin cream works. A+ for me and my smart, rational brain.
Yeah, no problem so far. The issue came when they changed the specifics of the data so that instead of being about skin rash creams, it was now about gun control. Same numbers, now it's about guns. When they did that, they found that the participants' ideology would take over. And if the bigger number seemed to confirm their political beliefs, their math skills would go out the window and they'd get the answer wrong.
It's about guns now? No. Okay, well, the first number is bigger, which kind of falls in line with everything that I figured out in my own calculations that I did in my heart. I think it's factually accurate. It just feels right?
The fact is, the more partisan you are, the less you can be sure that anything you believe is true. In other words, maybe it's not Hillary or Trump we should be worried about this election. Maybe the enemy is ourselves. Now, there is a way out of this, and it's incredibly simple. And I'll tell you what it is right after this. So, partisan polarization is the problem with our democracy today. It divides us, it stops our government from working, and it's actually making us dumber. But there is such a simple solution to this problem. All we have to do is realize that polarization is all in our heads. We're not really on Team Red or Team Blue. And we actually agree about a lot more than we realize. In 2015, Gallup found that there were more independents than there were Democrats or Republicans in America. People who don't identify with either party are actually the biggest group. And for those of us who do say, hey, I'm a Democrat, hey, I'm a Republican, look, when you look inside your heart, you know you're not that hardcore about it, right? You don't always follow the party line. Sometimes you agree with your party, sometimes you don't, and the rest of you's water. You're not a party robot. You contain multitudes, right? Well, the people on the other side feel exactly the same way. And that means we can make progress if reasonable people of both parties get together and find common ground. Let me give you an example. Are you a Democrat who wants paid family leave, but you can't get it done? Well, why don't you team up with the 73% of white evangelicals who want that too? Are you a conservative who wants to reduce immigration? Well, 33% of Democrats are with you on that. So why don't you team up? This kind of coalition building is the way LBJ got things done, and it's how we can do it too. If we were willing to look past our disagreements and work together, imagine what we could accomplish.
He's right. Politics isn't binary, it's a spectrum.
Oh, I'm like totally polypolitical, man. I swing state both ways.
Well, you want to start a coalition just for the night?
Oh, we could be political rivals with benefits.
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
you like
gonna
that?
put some special interests on your ballot.
I think we might see some legislation come out of that, huh? So, here's a proposal. After you go vote this Tuesday in November, and I hope you do, and I hope you vote for every race up and down the ballot, head home, open up Facebook, and start a conversation with someone from the other side. That weird friend from high school, the uncle who only types in all caps, right? Start a conversation, but this time do it from a starting point of empathy, compassion, and respect, and see if you can't find just one thing that you agree you want to change about America for the better. And when you do that, you may find that this person you've been so mad at, they're not a monster. They're not trying to destroy America. They're a person, just like you, who wants to make this country a better place. Thank you guys so much. My name's Adam Conover. Please give it up one more time for Eliza Skinner and Adam Lustig, everybody. Thank you.